Welcome today to Hack the Tech. I'm Alexander Holmeset. I'm a senior cloud consultant from Norway. I'm also an MVP for my contribution with Microsoft Teams and automation in general. So I was tired of the Norwegian winter, so I moved to Spain last year. And I love tinkering with the PowerShell and APIs, and I traveled to eat great food. Already had a lot of great food here in Denver. And also, huge thanks to all our sponsors for making this possible. So let's start. Oh, just a reminder, I will ask a question later on in the session, and the best answer will get a chocolate bar from Norway. Okay, so the Teams Admin Center. Who thinks it's perfect? Are there things missing? Yeah. Do you do a lot of manual labor? Oh, yeah. So the session today is about Hack the Tech. That's taking a look under the hood of the Teams Admin Center and try to find out what's possible to do with that information, and if you can try to automate some stuff and make more sense of it. So that's all the PowerPoint for today. So the rest of the session is demos. Yep, let's take a look here. For example, it's not always that Teams Admin Center gives you a correct error message or a meaningful. Have anyone experienced that? Yep. So let's try to open up a team here and edit it. Okay, I want to assign a sensitivity label and click apply. Okay, we can't save the Teams Got Your Summit. Please try again later. Okay, so if you try again later in an hour or so, still the same message. You kind of would expect that this was an intermittent issue like being throttled or a server issue or something like that. But no, it's not at all. So let's take up the famous hacker button. I don't remember which senator it was, but I think there was a senator in the US that tried to ban the hacker button in some way a couple of years ago. So if you go into dev mode in your browser, this is Edge Chromium, and go to network, you can see all the API calls and what's happening in the background there. So if I try to assign this one again, see there's an error message there, 404. It's forbidden. So even though how long you wait and retry, you'll still get the same error message. So we can take a look at the response for that error message. And here you can see authorization request denied. Assignment of labels to groups requires Azure AD Premium license. So why couldn't you just get that error message directly there? Yeah. Like, I had Azure AD Premium, but it was trial license, so it expired. So that's why. Okay. Next thing on the list, let's take a close look at those API calls in the background. Like, can you use that to apply settings in the admin center? So if we go to, let's see here, emergency addresses, for example. So if I open up the F12 button again, and if I click add, choose a country, say Norway, and we see input address, test street, Oslo, and I need an altitude, 2 seconds there. Come on. There we go. Copy that one. And we need 6 numbers there. Okay. And do it like that. and we click, just clear it out so it's much easier to see. We click save. Need a postal code and a business number. What is missing now? Come on. Between 8 and 12 characters. Okay. Can you see what's missing? What do you say? The name? Let's see, Norway, street name, Oslo, postal code maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Seriously. First demo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this didn't go as planned. Let me try refreshing here. Or we can try something else also. That's okay, perfect, thanks. And United States and test. Could be there. Acknowledge. Print. Okay. Okay, now I can click save. So if I click save now, sorry. This is rubbish. Let's see here. Can I do it? I need to select state, Colorado. Let's see if it. Well, let's skip this. I'll go to another part of the admin center. It could be that, yeah. 2 seconds here. Add your dynamic admin center. Yeah, let's see. Test. There we go. Yep, thank you. Okay, we've clicked save now. Let's see here. It's doing some stuff here. And how many knows about Graph API and what API calls is and do? A couple there. So if you take a look at this one and header, this is option, but we want the post one. And here you can see the request URL goes to a private Microsoft API. It's a post request. And we scroll a further bit down here. You can see an authorization token. If we go to payload, we can also see the JSON request that we need to send to that endpoint. So if we copy the URL, go into VS Code, paste that one, and also we want to grab the token. There we go. And paste that one. And now we need the request. So that's on the payload. Do it like that. Paste it in here. And let's give it another name. New demo. And if I run this now, run selection, it failed. Okay. Civic address already present. Okay, let's delete the old one then first. And if we run it again, there we go. If I refresh now, see that it's added through using PowerShell and API calls. So let's take a look at something very mundane, a really hideous task. How many have put in networks information into the network planner? It takes a long time. Let's see where I find it there. I hate this. Let's see. Network planner. There we go. So I remember at the customer, they had 200 network sites. And first you need to create a plan. This is a test. And then you need to add sites to that network plan. And maybe each site has multiple subnets and stuff. And I think I used many days on putting in those 200 sites as a never again. So if you think, for example, you already have all that network information with Teams CQD, for example. So what I did, I started looking at the API calls being done in the background, and I just expanded that CSV file from CQD and added some information like network bandwidth and stuff like that, and created a script so we can put in that information with the click of a button almost. So if I cancel this one, I just need to grab, create a new site and grab a token, because the token depends on which part of the admin center you're in. So let's go back. And we clear this one and add a plan, test. We see it here and grab a token. And if you have questions underway, just fire away. So I have a little script here. I'll just paste the token first.
How long is that token good for?
Usually an hour or so. Yeah. No, not very long.
It'll be shorter after this session, probably.
Yeah. So first, let's take a look at the CSV file I've created. And as you can see, there's familiar information like network IP, network name, range, building information. They've added like one link capacity, is the internet egress remote or local, and so on. So if we then go into the script, and let's give it a new name, yeah, call it ComsVNext 2023, and see the URL I use, that's network plans. And we need to filter out to create first the sites that have local internet. So then again, you can create the sites that need to have remote breakout. So they need to exist first, and you need to gather that information first, the IDs and stuff. So then you basically loop through those three. If I select this and run, shouldn't take that long. Oh, it's done already. Okay. And if we go back here now to Network Planner and refresh, let's remove this one. And there we have ComsVNext 2023. With all the sites added here, like this one. You can see that it has multiple subnets. It's connected to another site for egress. So things like this will save a lot of time. And the next one, so how many usually put in loads of configuration profiles for their phones, panels, and such for every single deployment? Like different time zones, different countries, and such. So if we go to devices and say, for example, phones and configuration profiles. So Jens, that's in the room next to us, he had like a spreadsheet of, I think it was over 200 different configuration profiles he used to have in every single deployment. And that takes also a long time. So once again, I used that CSV file that he created and created a script to be able to upload that to the admin portal. So let's once again try to grab a token. And let's see here. Just edit one, add, test, test. And here see all these different types of settings. You have timeout, device pin code, language, and so on. So when I click save again, see here there's a post request. And the URL is configuration profiles. And if we take a look at the payload, you see all the information it sends over to the admin portal. You have device clock, pin code, timeout, and all that, and the device type and such. So you can add Teams panels also, for example. So if we grab this token from here, yeah, because it's going towards different private APIs. Yeah. Let's see. And so most of these scripts are also available on my blog, but for some reason, PowerShell core doesn't support the input of a character longer than 1024. So I need to add it into the script instead of asking for it interactively. And I'll also show you the CSV file we're going to upload now. Config profiles. You see there's loads and loads and loads of profiles for different types of devices, IP phones and such. And I'll show you shortly the script also. So it gives you will give you a couple of options, like asking if you want to delete everyone, because also deleting every single one, like if you have over 100, it will take a long time. You can click one, delete, reload, delete, and it loads the CSV file, loops through every one of them into this JSON request here, and then sends it off. So let's try running this. And take a look at the console here. So you have press 1 for upload or press 2 for deleting. So 1, just need to grab the path of the CSV file. There. You can see it on the scroll bar on the side there that it's doing a new one. And this will take about 3-4 minutes to complete those 400 profiles. So let's just cancel this one for now and go in and take a look. And, okay. And if I refresh, already 25 added here. So I would really like an upload button or something like that in there. So that would make things a lot easier, to not having to go in behind the scenes there, and because things like this will eventually break. Well, I created this almost 2 years ago now, but it's background stuff. So sometimes they do some changes, small changes, and the script will break and stuff like that. Let's see what's next on our plan. Yeah, I'll show you how to delete it also, so you can see how quick it is. So, click run, and choose 2. Are we sure you want to delete? Now it's starting to delete also. And if we go back, see there were 25. If we reload, it's down to 7 already. So, questions so far? Yep.
Have you found a programmatic way to generate the tokens?
Nope. You can? Oh, that's good. Good to know.
You can also technically log into Azure,
Yeah.
as long as you know the resource URL and give the bearer token for that resource URL you're trying to attach to.
Good to know. Thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't think you can do yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Next. So, in regards of, say, what's he call it? Auto-attendant. How many remembers the CIFA util for Sky for Business? Oh yeah. How many miss it?
Less so now.
Yeah. So I had multiple customers, like they want their receptionist to be able to change the opening hours for auto attendance, change holidays, upload audio. There's a new item on the roadmap now, but that's only for editing the greeting, not the opening hours and stuff like that. So this is technically not hacked attack, but I've created a routine that uses a Microsoft form, so we can give access to that via group, for example, give that to a receptionist, and they can fill out the form. Okay, there's a new holiday coming here, which date, add a greeting message and such. When they send that form in, it triggers a Power Automate flow, which again triggers Azure Automation to create that. So I'm going to show you that now. Let's see. And the way you could also upload a greeting audio file, and PowerShell will grab that from the user's OneDrive and upload it also. So first of all, we need to have an app registration to be able to read a user's OneDrive file. So let's go to app registration and click new, and a demo 3, register, and let's see, just copy the client ID into the script so I have it for later. There we go. Is the text too small, or is it okay to look at, by the way? Yep, cool. So paste the client. Oh, no, self-service. There we go. Yep. And then the tenant ID. So we have that one. And we need to create a permission here, and that's file read all. So add permission, Graph API, application, and file read all. And always remember to grant the permission. If you don't do that, it won't be effective and work. And we need a secret. So we new client secret, and call it secret, and add. We'll copy that later on, and open up a new tab here in Azure. And of course, we need to use Azure Automation. So anyone used Azure Automation before? Yeah, a couple. How many have used PowerShell before though? Here. Yeah, some. Let's see, and click create. And choose the correct subscription, new resource group, a demo 3. And give the account name, demo 3. Oops. There we go. Review and create. This usually takes a little minute. There you go. Go to resource. And inside Azure Automation, under what's called runbooks, here we can store PowerShell scripts. But we need to prepare a couple of things first. So first of all, we need the Teams PowerShell module. So you go to modules, browse gallery, and search for Teams. And select. And we actually need to use PowerShell 7.1 because there's some weird issue in Azure Automation when trying to read an audio file in PowerShell 5.1, so it fails basically. So choose 7.1, import, and this will take a couple of minutes. So we also need the credential of an admin user. So let's add that. Call it admin. That's there. Let's see if I remember that password. Probably could do it with a much safer way, but just for the demo purpose. So this is a Teams admin account without MFA on it. And we also need to save the application secret as a string, encrypted. Let's see. Oh, it's there. We go. Copy the value. Save that one. Create. And next, we need to input that PowerShell script into a runbook here. So create this one, AA demo tree. Runbook type is PowerShell. And 7.1, and create. And I'll quickly walk you through the script and see how it works. It grabs a Graph API token to be able to read the file if there's an audio greeting and not the text greeting. And let's go further down here. So if the choice is like audio, it grabs the greeting file from the OneDrive of the person that set up the form and creates a greeting prompt. And if it's text, it creates text prompt. And it's pretty simple. You create menu options, the menu, new call flow, and the schedule. And then you basically use set CS auto attendant in that instance. So that reminds me, we actually need auto attendant. No, that's the name. Okay, sorry. Let's copy this one and put it in. There we go. And as you see, I have some parameters as mandatory, or not mandatory, but I put them in as something to input into the script. When you save and publish this and open it up in Power Automate, Power Automate will recognize that these are input the script accepts, so you can have that in Power Automate. So first of all, we need to create the forms. So, new form. Call it a demo tree. We need a choice. There's a name. I'll just give it one option. And a demo tree. Let's see. Oh, I haven't created that one yet. I need to create it. Sorry. So we add the auto attendant first. A demo tree. Just no operator, time zone. And next. So let's see. Add a greeting first. Hello. There. So this is, I'm going to show you like what's possible, and you can do it more complicated and have done it more complicated for customers. So this demo is going to show you how to add a holiday into an auto attendant. But I also created for customers so they could change the opening hours for every day and can split it up in half if you wanted to have like a 1 hour lunch break in the middle, so they can do all those different choices. So let's go back to the form and add a new one. And we need to have a holiday name. And we need to have a start date. And we need to have an end date. And next thing, we need to have a choice if it's audio or text greeting. Audio or text. Audio. Text. And then we need to add one more text greeting, and we also need to add an upload button here. So upload file, audio greeting. And then we're going to add some branching on this choice. So go to add branching. So if it's audio, it goes to audio greeting. And if it's text, it goes to text greeting. And after this, it's end of the form. Same with this one, end of the form. Okay, then we click collect responses. So we have the URL to the form. And the last part is creating the Power Automate flow. So we go to flow. Look at that. Actually change the URL. Get redirected to Power Automate now. So anyone played around with Power Automate also? Couple. That's good. Let's see here. So what we want to create now is automated cloud flow. And the trigger is form. So when a new response is submitted, so we fill out the form, this flow is triggered. Okay, click create. Here. And here we pick the form that we created. And also we need to get the response from that form. Deadline for update. Nope. Get response details. Then we choose the form again. And the response ID. And next step is to have a condition. And we choose that if it's audio or text is equal to audio, it will go over to yes. Then we'll grab the ID of the OneDrive and the file. So we need to do something called, let's see here, JSON, parse JSON. So, and we do that from, where did it go? Audio greeting. And just need to grab a JSON template I created here. Let's see, where did it go? Open. Come on. Nope. Okay, let's try it later. Sensors file parse. There we go. Just need to copy this one. Paste it in here. And we'll parse it. And we need to create an automation job. Create in Azure. There we go. Create job. And we choose the subscription the automation account is stored under. A resource group. And automation account, runbook name. Now we see the parameters that's inside of the PowerShell script. So we choose the end date and start date and the choice. That's audio or text, auto attendant name. and the holiday name and greeting file ID. There we go. And we could also, on the no side, add the same options for text greeting. But we're only going to test uploading an audio greeting and adding a holiday here today. So if I click save on this now, and we go back to Azure Automation first and go to jobs, and no jobs found. And now we're going to try to fill out that form and test holiday. And that starts tomorrow and ends on Friday. It's audio, and we upload a WAV file here. I think it's that one. Yep. Demo WAV and submit. If you go into Azure Automation now, it's queued and should start running the script very shortly. There's some time I tried running this, it could, Azure Automation can give you a reply that says just failed, because it could be that it takes too long to process the audio file. You need to make sure that you don't have way too long greeting messages when doing this though. So, questions while we're waiting?
How can you make it more secure? You refer to that. Because that's one of the big questions everybody's always asking.
Yeah.
What are the options?
I guess you can use a token or something, like you did. Hmm? Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. And you can, there's an option for impersonation or something like that. Yeah. So it's possible to make it more secure. Yeah.
Your definition of where you're storing the file on the person's OneDrive, that's all based in your PowerShell, right?
Yeah.
So you're just basically picking the location and dropping it in there and then picking it back
There's a location for forms. Let's take a look at the URL before we check here. Let's see here. Where is it? See the user's credentials, the user's OneDrive here, drive items, and it stores it directly under items. Okay, yep. So, you see it's completed. Let's see if the demo gods are with us. Let's refresh this one first. And go into call flows during holidays. And there you have a test holiday. And with a greeting file also. So this is just to give you the ideas what's possible to do. And I guess you could maybe build an application around it, maybe a Power App or something like that, so it's much more intuitive and easier than a form. So it looks nicer also. So that's the Teams Admin Center. So at last, we're going to take a look at Teams Client. Did you know that it's all API calls in the background? But for this, let's see here. So if we take a look at Teams Client in the web browser, and then a question, have anyone tried to, would wish they could say pre-provision favorites for accounts like help desk or reception? Have you found a way to do it? Can you do it with Landis? No. We wish for the API. Ah, okay. Yeah. So, well, if you open up the dev mode of the browser again inside of the web client, and we under speed dial, click add. So test user, and we add a phone number. You see it's doing stuff in the background there. Doing a post request and the payload. And here you can see the request it's sending towards the servers. And you also have the URL for the request and also a token down here. But let's see, say you have 100 new users and you want everyone to have help desk and receptionist as their speed dial favorites. So how do you do that? Okay, so now you see I removed the speed dial favorite here. And we're going to go into Windows because I'm going to use a PowerShell module called AAD internals that you're able to use in a more automated way to grab the Teams client token. So this you would do before you add MFA to the new accounts. So I have a CSV file here with for now it's just for this demo it's only one user, but it contains the username and the password for that user. So for this to work, you need to use basic auth. So you do it right before you add MFA and provision them. And let's see further down here. I'm going to add help desk and reception here. And you need to take notice of the URL when looking at this in the browser, because my tenant is in Europe, and you see it says EMEA, so the URL is different from depending on where it's hosted. But look at that. We're actually using beta in production. So, okay, let's try running this script here. Shouldn't take that long. It should.
Are you using individual users lists because you're impersonating each user individually?
Yeah, so you have a list of all the users like individually, yeah. So you need their username and UPN. Yeah, so using the AAD internals module to be able to grab that systematically. Yeah.
Since you're mentioning usernames and passwords, would your use case here be actual end users, or just more like shared devices, for example?
Could probably apply to shared devices too. Yeah. Yep. Let's see if we go back to the browser here now, and we refresh. And you see help desk and reception. You can also click context, and you see the phone numbers of them. And one last thing I'm going to show you, that things change. This is background tinkering with private endpoints, so it's not something you usually do. So I'm just going to show you an example of a demo that broke a couple of days ago. Oh, I hadn't tested it in a while though. But you remember the usage reports here? Let's see, come on. Oh, why isn't it loading? Let's try one more time here. Let me go to usage reports. So these reports used, it's basically the same reports that is in Graph API, but they used their own private endpoints before. So I had like a script that you read the Teams user activity, and then you could tap into Azure AD, get their department, so you can see which department was the most productive in Teams, using Teams the most. But if you click run on this report now, let's see here. See, it's using Graph API in the Teams admin portal. We're like 15 minutes left, so we have some time for questions. So what would you want to be automated inside of the Teams admin portal? What's missing? What's your big ask? Yeah, that's good. Want one? Or do you have any more questions here? No, quiet. You get chocolate. That was easy. There you go. I don't think so, but I've yeah. There's multiple ones. Yeah, but there's multiple ones there. Yeah. I think more and more is coming. So there's, I'll go into a Azure portal and some application rights there. So the only admin portal that has admin endpoint in Graph API now is SharePoint. I think more and more stuff like that will come though. So if you go into app registrations and click into here, and API permissions, and add, which is Graph API, and try to type SharePoint. You see SharePoint tenant settings, read write. And that's the first one I've seen that actually goes towards admin center settings. But it would be great if something like that came for Teams, Exchange, every other admin center. So you can do it in a more automatic way. So, any more questions before we finish?
I like your form and runbook demo.
Yeah.
Do you have any other kind of examples of where you've done similar things that you think are particularly interesting? Auto attendance and coffees are cool.
Yeah.
Anything else top of mind that you're willing to talk about?
Not that I can think.
That might be interesting.
Like what I didn't have done with forms and stuff like that before is to like have a request form for creating a team and stuff like that. Yeah. So that I done, but like code change and stuff like that, and you don't really want to maintain. So I recently started using, for example, Orchestry for my customers. So then you don't have to worry about maintaining code. You have a vendor doing that. Yeah.
I've had customers we worked through, they would upload, I talked about this in my session yesterday, where they would upload a spreadsheet of users. And one of the columns would be like cut date, right, for migration. And all the settings they want for all the users, and they would just expand on that. They could have a form or however they want to be updated.
Yeah.
And then the automation would basically say, okay, I'm going to periodically go through this sheet, and then 2 weeks from the start date, I'm going to send out an email, hey, you're going to be migrating to Teams. 1 week, hey, get ready. 3 days,
Yeah.
get ready. Final day, boom, executes an automation flow.
Oh, yeah.
Does all the user provisioning. Now, because you guys have to build in, right? We have to write code for you guys. Yeah, when your boss doesn't let you write code for customers. Anyway, so I mean, to your point, there's Orchestry.
Yeah.
We all agree that an automation company that tries to do this.
There's,
They have worked though.
yeah.
But that's one option I see a lot of new customers kind of request.
Yeah.
Hey, can I just do this? Well, you can take PowerShell script, put it in an automation flow, and then you just
Yeah.
do the front end of it. But not everyone is willing to put Power Apps.
Oh yeah, of course. And since we still have time, like something I discovered, like setting in regards to automation, setting sensitivity labels for teams and stuff. You need to do that with Exchange PowerShell, for example, but you can't do it with a certificate because exactly for that command to work, you need to be authenticated as a user. I asked someone about it, and it's because it's a tenant-wide setting or something like that. You don't want an app registration permission for that. But I found a way to trick that though. So if you use is PMP PowerShell or what it's called, if you create an app registration for PMP PowerShell and you set the sensitivity label on the SharePoint side of the team, it syncs back to the group. So you can do it fully automatically with app registration. Yep. Yeah.
Thought about or been asked to, like, it would be a ton of work, but you could use this to back up the version control tag settings.
Well, I guess you would more look at M365 DSC or something like that. That's a better way. Like you have one huge JSON file for every setting in the tenants and stuff. Well, it's not fully automatic because you're so dependent on some of the modules using basic auth still. But I would rather use M365 DSC for that. Yeah. Well, there's no more questions. Thanks for attending my session, and have a great day. Thanks.